Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another episode for Beacon of Leadership podcast. Today, I'm excited to, along with Curtis Leung. Welcome, Curtis.
Hello. How are you guys
How,
doing?
how are you today?
Thank you.
Awesome. So, along with Curtis and myself, we're excited to present this panel discussion about heart-centered leadership. My guests today are Wilma A. David. She's an angelic healer who has been a big part of our growth in our community, so I'm excited to have her here today. And then Mark Maynard, who is one of a pair representing Internal Awakening, a community that really talks about leading from the heart, learning from your intuition and allowing that to represent who you are and how you'll step forward. So thank you both for joining us today. I'll talk to Wilma first. Wilma, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you help people.
All right. Thank you, RJ. Thank you, Curtis. And nice to meet you, Mark. And I am also an advocate of your platform. Definitely, I know it's impacting a lot of people and bringing love and light. So again, my name is Wilma David, and I'm an alternative healing practitioner. So meaning that I do different holistic healing modalities, customized to the needs of the clients. I do one-on-one coaching, personalized healing, depending on emotional, mental, spiritual, or physical state of the client. But by education, I'm a chemical engineer. I practice engineering before in the pharmaceutical industry. So I work with doctors and scientists. But knowing too much about drugs, I told you, RJ, I decided to pursue a different passion, which is aligned to more on quantum awakening, metaphysics, and energy healing. So by doing so, I studied different healing modalities. I studied metaphysics, neurolinguistic programming, and I'm a certified angelic healing practitioner by the International Association of Therapists. And I do life coaching as well. So that's what I do in a nutshell. And I'm excited to know more about and open the hearts of other people who are listening to your platform today.
Mm. Thank you, and I'm glad we'll get into what you used to do and how it led into what you do. But I want everybody to meet Mark Maynard first. Mark, tell us a little bit more about who you are, where you come from, and how you help people.
Absolutely, thank you, RJ, and hi, Curtis. Nice to meet you, Wilma. Nice to see you guys here. So first of all, yeah, as RJ said, my name's Mark Maynard. I am a life coach. I am a life improvement specialist, and I have studied at length the laws of the universe. As RJ pointed out, I like to come from the science of our experience and really kind of combine that with our understanding of how we operate. I mean, for myself, I found that a lot of people tend to want to separate themselves from the laws of science. That's something logistical you learn. It happens outside of you. It doesn't happen inside of you, but it does happen inside of us. And the more that I study the laws and the more that I implement it into what I do, the better everything has been getting. Just aligning myself with, basically, I call it the rules of the game. Now, as you pointed out, I have a partner, LaTroy Woods. He's not with us tonight, but together we created Internal Awakening, which was basically the concept of bringing that scientific understanding to a spiritual sense and help people understand themselves better, their true self, what's in their heart and what it is that they would really love to express in the world. However, due to some of the information that we're given that we have in our subconscious, a lot of people don't feel it's that they can do it, but we all really can. And it's so rewarding and exciting to help people shift that perspective and understand what they can create in their life and all the value, not only that they can bring to the world, but to themselves, and really experience and enjoy a life that they love living. So Internal Awakening was based on that concept. I am a life mastery consultant for the Brave Thinking Institute. So I have a host of Mary Morrissey programs that I consult on, and I'm always expanding. Lately been studying a lot of Joe Dispenza and what he's working on. and getting deep into the heart-brain coherence, which is another way for us to really tap into our abilities as human beings and see a greater side of ourselves that's already here, and we may not be aware of that.
Mm.
So in a nutshell, that's myself. Thank you.
Well, that was quite a nutshell. It was a full one, but again, you know what? I love where you guys come from and what you guys do. Curtis DeYoung, again, my partner in this. Do you have any curiosities? Do you have anything you want to know about these people before we get into it?
How long have you been doing, Mark? How long have you been doing your thing for now?
So I've been in self mastery for about 8 years. I've been certified in coaching professionally for a little over 2 myself. So that's kind of the history for me.
Oh, cool. And Wilma, you took a couple of certifications. How long did it take you to get certified to do the NLP and stuff?
I
month
took
or a year?
NLP practitioner courses about 4 or 5 years ago, but I was doing a lot of healing since I was 7 years old. So I was gifted with some abilities, which I realized at an earlier age, and my psychic abilities are very, very high. And then at a very young age, some multidimensional beings are connecting with me, and like angels and other divine beings. Initially, it was obviously when you're a little kid or a little girl, it's kind of like, what is this, you know? And then later on, like Mark saying, I awaken. You know, we have to open ourselves to full awareness to realize all these gifts, you know. And no matter how I try to divert, like I took chemical engineering and all these things, you know, but in the end, I still return back to where I am truly passionate about, which is obviously healing people and coaching people. Yeah.
Awesome. That's good stuff. Good to know.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So Wilma, again, you brought it up again that you're a chemical engineer. So you came from the pharmaceutical industry. You know all about chemicals and the pills
Yes.
that we take and the
Yes.
medications that we're constantly developing. You got away from that. Why?
First of all, back home, I'm known as a healer, and we are in my family are also gifted healers as well, and we are in a family business. But I came to a point that it's too much for me. Sometimes I tend to blame myself if I see something that I don't do anything about it. And then I decided, okay, to deactivate kind of like my psychic abilities. And then I said, okay, I want to go to a country where nobody knows me. So that's why I migrated to Canada, because I don't know anybody when I came here. And then obviously when you land to a country where you have no idea, I asked myself, what am I going to do? You know, and I said, okay, nobody knows me as a healer. Let me practice engineering. So I practice chemical engineering in the largest pharmaceutical. And obviously for many years, more than 10 years, I've known the in and out because I work with doctors and scientists and formulators. Then later on, my stomach couldn't take it anymore. Not that I am against the science of it, but I still believe that there are root causes. Most of the root causes can be awakened or healed in a more holistic manner, you know. So, and that's where I decided to be a full-time healing practitioner. And nothing wrong with science, because we are all one. Science is a part of metaphysics, but people are not knowing what is the root cause, why they are sick, why they have diseases, you know. And obviously pharmaceutical is the band-aid solution right now, and there is an easy way to just swallow pills or over the counter, and now you even order it in Amazon, you know, and self-medicate yourself, right? So and that's why I decided to shift. And one particular thing that as a healer, like Mark is obviously aware of this one, we have to heal areas of ourselves. We have to be fully aware of who we are, and we have to have clarity of our own selves, because otherwise you are not in full authenticity coaching people, you know, if you are not one with yourself. So this is a very important part of the journey of, you know, being in this practice or field.
Mhm. So, and then Mark, she referenced you on that one. Again, I like to think of you as my modern science teacher. You teach me a lot about science at this point. But again, internal awakening is more about being in tune with ourselves. Tell little bit more about your background there and your interest there.
Yeah, sure. As Wilma said, for the longest time I was searching. My life has been in so many different stages. And my awakening actually happened quite some time ago, but I didn't find my mentors until later on in life. Apparently, my track, I needed a second awakening in my life to really get me to a place where it's time to get into the flow of what my genuine self really is. And that came through 3 major medical events in my life, which it's very, very powerful for me. I had a heart attack, a VSD repair, I had a stroke, and I had a major concussion all happen within 20 months. And it brought me to something that Les Brown said in all of his seminars: if you don't move in life, life will move on you. And I was acting incongruent to the energy that was me, and I wasn't being my honest or true self. And the more I did that, the more stress I added to my system, the worse my condition got, till finally it was, okay, you got to wake up, you got to get it to this, you got to figure this out, or it's going to kill you. So I just finally listened and I found Bob Proctor, Mary Morrissey, Les Brown. Then I just started adding people, listening to Tom Bilyeu and all the people he interviews, Jim Rohn and Abraham Hicks. I just kept going. Anybody that I could find anything from, I started basically pulling that in. And then I went from PGI and Bob Proctor to Mary Morrissey, where I really got trained to be a coach. And the first thing they make sure you do is exactly what Wilma was saying. Get into what you would love. Get into you. Let's find you. You're your first client. So you take yourself through everything you're being taught. And the whole notion is example the system, be the example, walk the talk. Otherwise, you're not effective as a leader. So that was a very powerful thing for me, was to get in there, do the work, get on the self-mastery. And the self-mastery was relentless. It gets to the point of addiction. If I'm not doing something to work on myself every single day, something's missing. I can feel that that's missing. And I just, now I'm a bit empty there. So for me, that's what it was about. Do the system, example the system, have this, then you have the experiences. And those experiences of the synchronistic conveyor belt of how the universe will be your friend. It's actually always in our favor, but it creates perception must be incongruent with that, because some people will see a benefit as a liability, and that's perception, right? So for me and Troy, when we basically put our energies together, one thing we found is the two of us were more obsessive about our own dedication to self-mastery than we were about anything else. And I think that's where we really decided we should put these energies together and see what would come about on that. As he was more in the spiritual side of it and I was more in the science of it. And when we put that together, we met in the middle and we both really started sharing the other side with each other. And that just created this whole complete energy of understanding the system here at the universe. And nowadays, I don't even have the time to tell you the massive action we're in the middle of taking. Me and my wife were about to travel North America in an RV and see this great country of ours for the first time. And, you know, opening up all kinds of group coaching concepts, stage performances, not performances, but speaking engagements, as Troy's getting some of those set up for us in Utah. So those will be coming down the pike. And there's just more and more and more that's starting to unfold in front of us, because we're stepping in to what we would love to have rather than worrying about all of the restrictions. They're just opportunities. They're not obstacles. So by moving towards a life we would love, we're now going to be able to experience that because we're willing and not because we already have everything we think we may need to do so, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Absolutely.
I'm getting excited to collaborate with you, Mark and Troy, and also Curtis, you know, because we have a huge role right now because to raise the consciousness of humanity and the earth, you know, and COVID has a reason. All of us like light workers or star seeds, healers, coaches, had a massive expansion during the COVID season, you know, as well, because we really have a mission, you know, to expand all this awakening among many people. Okay, but the challenge with that, Curtis and our RJ, is like we have to be equipped, our mind, our body, and soul, because we are being attacked by dark energies. You know, dark energies, you don't see them, but they are very evil, you know, and they use to manipulate minds of other people. So us in this kind of role, like Mark says, we do a lot of self-mastery because this way we will be immune to this attack over the external environment, you know. So like, for example, one typical that Mark said is worry. Okay. Once you master not worrying about anything, you are immune. You know, it just flows. But that's the hardest part people are in their day-to-day life is worry, you know. And a lot of people would ask me, Wilma, why do you look young? Why are you always like, you know, never age, you know? Because once she's mastered that law of spirituality, and one of them is surrender and not worrying, you know, even if you have diseases or if something comes up in your body, you know that you have a lesson to learn, you know. If something triggers in your body or something is happening, that means there is a trapped emotion somewhere, or a wound that is not healed from either yourself or your past life or whatever it is in your blueprint of life. So I'm very excited myself, like as Mark is excited, because we have such a role to expand ourselves out there, to have a voice. But before we do that, we have to make sure that we are 100% immune, like I said. You know, one thing is like heart, our heart is very open, and self-love is very important first, because you cannot give anything to somebody when you are not in the self-love, you know. So that's very,
Absolutely.
very important.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you led me into something too, because I wish LaTroy was here to talk about it, because he really is heart-centered. He really is about, you know, getting in touch with and learning from your own self, your own internal being. But he also led me to create a post that I just posted today, called Are You in Love? And it's not about, you know, do you have a lover? Do you have a partner? Don't get me wrong. It's great to have a partner to walk through life with you. But really it's about, are you leading in love? Are you, you know, embracing all that is love and all that comes from the heart? Because you know what, are you in love with the life you live? Are you in love with the person you have become? Are you in love with the way you show up and the way you exist in this world? And if you're not, then you need to step into that. You need to learn how to open up your heart, like you say, Wilma, and
Mhm.
let that goodness in, because we're so inundated with our day-to-day life and all that brings, that we that darkness that you mentioned can creep in at any moment. And if it does, it can do damage if we're unaware of its presence and a way to walk out of it or go beyond it. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And we are living testimony, like Mark is humbly have mentioned that he went through some medical or health issues, right? But we cure them with so much love and light, you know.
yes.
And the more you are joyful and as I said, now worrying, you are allowing yourself to heal. One classic example, I haven't shared this much. Last September, not even a year ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. All right, but I challenged all the doctors. I said, you know what, give me 3 months. This does not belong to me, because obviously I know how my lifestyle, I know my way of living, you know, and I said, this doesn't belong to me. This could be ancestral karma from some of my previous generation, but definitely doesn't belong to me. So I challenged my doctors, 3 months, give me, I will reverse my cell and do all the things. And 3 months, you won't see anything. And that's what exactly I did. So they were surprised. And when I knew about it, all I do every day is just be joyful. I was going to the beach, I was enjoying, I was just traveling, I was just laughing, and it just heals by itself, and I chased some of I asked my mother, Mom, who is my uncle? Did they do bad things? So who is this? My grandparents, have they done some bad things? Because we have to close those wounds. Because the law of spirituality, there's also a law of karma, is the cause and effect. Maybe your great grandfather have done something wrong. Unfortunately, it passed to you, right? So we have to do ourselves. Like myself, I have done about 4,000 of my generations that I have done clearing, ancestral in my generation. Because as a healer, I always look at myself. If I have a headache, I won't heal somebody with a headache because it's not authentic. It's kind of like you're fooling the universe or the source, that why are you helping somebody if you have a headache? So if I have, for example, a money blockage, I won't quote something about money because it's not authentic. So everything comes from a pure heart. You always I heard repeatedly from Mark congruency. When your mind, your heart, and your actions are congruent, then you are kind of like bulletproof, because what you say, what you do, and what you think are all aligned. Let's say if you are having this event, but you are worrying that it's not going to be successful, it's conflicting to the heart and the mind. It's not congruent. So you always have to ask yourself if what I'm thinking and my heart are the same. If not, then you have to find a way to clear that energy, because why it's not the same, so something like that. So like I myself, as a coach, I'm always mindful, of my own self, because if I are coaching somebody, then it's not, I have some restrictions in my heart, then I feel the vibration is not you feel it from your body. You can feel it. Okay, I'm off. It shouldn't be like this. So that's where I think we mentioned in the last hour call, we do aura cleansing, all those balancing, and because you want to remove all these negative energies that are causing a lot of trapped emotions and sickness.
Mm-hmm. And I've been in that place. Look, you mentioned that how what you dealt with your colon cancer, and thank you for opening up about that, by the way. But that's something I learned from Wayne Dyer. You know what I mean? He talks about, oh well, you know what? I don't get sick. I don't get colds, and don't get me wrong. That you feel the nose coming, and something's coming up.
Correct.
But he says, well, how do you get rid of it? Well, I talk to it. You know what I mean? I
Correct.
say, you don't belong here. This is not for me.
Correct.
Go see someone
Correct.
else.
Exactly.
Go, talk to them. You're not here for me. You know what? I have not had COVID to this point, and hopefully I don't think I will be getting it, but you know what, you don't know. But I've managed to avoid it, and not to say that I haven't had the sniffles or anything else come up, but again, the minute it comes up, I'm like, no, this is not what's happening. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not accepting of it. Clean out the nose, clean out the the pipes, as the case may be. And I haven't gotten ill in the last couple of years, despite the fact that I'm out there every day and living life, and not worrying about everything that's in the news and everything that's going on, and not letting it affect me, because honestly, it's not personal to me. It's not here for me. So I love that. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
And then Curtis, so I want to lead into you for a minute, because we talk about how we don't let these things affect us and we become immune to things. I'm not yet immune to 100% emotion. Sometimes, you get into a mood or a spirit for whatever reason that's in a negative charge, and it comes on. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm able to eliminate that before moving forward, but still it happens to me. Are you immune to, because I know you and I come from a place of anger and emotion. Are you immune to it at this point?
Well, no, I just know how to react to it quicker. So I recognize it faster before it takes over, right? So you say, oh, hey, this is going to trigger. It's like, oh, better watch this, or don't do this, or whatever. Just learn not to let things get to you. Even though, yeah, it's going to bother you a little bit here and there, no matter what. It's just how life is. Someone's going to cut you off, or someone bumps your table and spills your coffee. It makes you angry. It just happens, right? But you don't let it become to a violent level, right? Just like, okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, this would be an anger moment. Let's let it go. So basically what I do is let it go. And sometimes I use a little prayer, like I've used before, like the Hawaiian prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I've used that lots of times. And that's really good clearing technique. Even no matter where you're feeling your life, you just say those four terms and it works every time.
And is that I love the word for it. Is that the whole
No.
Opono? Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
knows.
love you. Thank
I'm
you. Please
sorry.
forgive me. Yeah.
In a different order, but yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
sequence of words. It doesn't matter which way you put it, just as long as you say it in the same way.
I just love the term for it. You've gotten me into practicing it too, but I love that term. I love using those words. So the whole
Ho'oponono.
Opono. So guys, please look that up because it is actually a powerful technique to bring yourself out of a moment that might turn disastrous if you allow it to. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Short
Yes.
term would be Hawaiian prayer. It's a Hawaiian prayer. And
Yeah.
they've actually did lots of research and it's very, very powerful. So because
Correct.
the story behind it was I forget the guy's name. But anyway, oh no.
Had one of those brain moments, did
Give me
you?
2 seconds.
You asked me, by the way, when I left out of the pharmaceutical industry, I wrote a book with Les Brown and Dr. John Gray and Raymond Aron. So actually, I went through some before the book was published to make sure that I don't have any legal or somebody sue me because my book says "Get Off Drugs" now. That was my topic. So it was great to collaborate with Les Brown and Dr. John Gray and Raymond Aron. I wrote this book as well about 3 or 4 years ago. So because I really wanted to assist in awakening people, and yeah, so that's one of the things that I have done, like publish a book with them.
Absolutely, that's powerful. First of all, not only do you get to deliver your experience and your authority, but you get to have these names. Look, we've all thrown these names around tonight, and you've got those names
Correct.
not next to yours, in posterity on your book. So that is awesome.
Yeah. But obviously, in the spiritual sense, we don't go by labels. All of us are the same. There's no high above. We are all in one consciousness. And right now, we call it like 5D dimension. We are in a mission to raise the consciousness of the planet, of humanity. Okay. So, and many times I ask myself, like, I don't want this anymore. Too much work. I said, you have to work ourselves, because helping other people, like myself, I get a lot of psychic attacks. I get a lot of outside interference in my energetic field as well. So if I am not strong, not physically strong, but spiritual immunity, that's what I say, that you are just an observer. Everything you're observing it, and you are not really reacting into it. And if you react into it and triggers you, that means this area of yourself that needs to be healed. So that's why I look at myself, why it triggered me, why it bothered me.
Right.
So I look at myself, what is it that I need to heal? Why am I angry? Where is that coming from? Something like that. So more of introspect, of really looking yourself, like what Mark mentioned, because to be really a coach, I should say, this is also the challenge right now. There's a lot of coaches, but they are in a different level, so I should caution other people as well, because not people are say coaches are coaches really, but they are in a different I don't know what to call it, in the different I don't know what to call it, but
yeah.
So and like myself, like I'm very conscious and mindful of myself before I do my coaching, because as I said, when you are in the universal flow, the flow of cosmic and all these energies, you are really aligning on authenticity, so that's very, very important, very, very important. So
Sure.
you cannot be arrogant, you cannot be everything should be aligned with the cosmic flow and the heart. The heart, because especially in myself, I'm pretty much like a monk. All I do every day is pray, heal, and meditate over my clients, aside from speaking, coaching, or going out, right? And there's chakras, which is like 7 of them, but mine is 114 up, open, very high, because I connect with higher beings. and all the masters of the light, whoever it is. It's not about religion. So, but all the masters of the light that I can assist to help people to here on earth to make their life like heaven. You know, that's our mission, to bring heaven on earth.
Mhm. And you know what I like to say, she talks to angels, and I believe her. So
Yes.
I like to tell people that about you, because you know what, I don't see angels, I don't see that aura, but you have seen that around me, and I respect that. You know what, I actually feel that when you're talking to me and when you're sharing that with me. So I want to get into Mark, because you look, we've mentioned some names: Bob Proctor, John Gray, you know, Les Brown, all these powerful names that were Mary Morrissey. We're aware of them. We know them. We actually look upon them. But you know, I've discussed with you how I want to start sharing this message, and you know what, carry on the words of these gurus, these masters who are, you know what, they're starting to leave us, but their message still carries on. So I've said, you know what, I'd love to be the next Bob Proctor or the next Jim Rohn, but you're helping me realize that I'm on that level with them, and you know what, I'm no different with them or from them, but you know, start showing up as RJ rather than start, you know, trying to show up as Bob Proctor or any of the others that we like to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit more about that, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's how we help people to find the love that they would like living. You know, the life they would love to live is already with them. That version of themselves is already present. However, the information up until now may not be in congruency with that, as Wilma was saying. So what we help people to understand is you can create that. And there's a divine matrix here that you can tap into to do that. And as soon as you start getting into your heart about what you would love, what we know to be true is that you cannot love anything that isn't meant for you. So if you love it, it is by divine matrix, it is designed for you, for your energy, for your soul. And the more you feel that reality, now you can start crafting, what's that avatar for me? Who's the RJ that's on stage presenting? What does he look like? How does he act, right? Same thing with all the, you know, the leader of leaders. You know, what does it look like? How many leaders can you see that you are leading? Who's that RJ? And the more you structure that out and let your heart stay connected with it, well, now you're into a new flow and a higher level of consciousness, higher level of information that you can tap into. And the more you focus your heart, the more you focus your love and intention on that, the more your actions will move in that direction. And similar to what Wilma was saying, Bob had a way that he quoted Earl Nightingale in saying, when your thoughts, feelings, and actions are all in harmony, that's when you're in integrity. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And that's something that we can do, as you're already on track to do that, to move towards the life that you would love to have, that maybe currently is not at the level of fact, but is in truth in your heart. And that is something Wallace Waddle said in The Science Getting Rich, that the only truth is the intention in your heart, and that facts keep changing, and they just keep changing and changing and changing. So nothing is ever permanent, and that truth is our power. That's our rudder or navigation system, as you will, that can keep us on track in the ocean, that we're headed towards what we would love to head towards.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And so then, if we're not in alignment, if we're not experiencing our true self and in touch with this heart that is talking to us, that's what's guiding us through our life. This is why we have these dreams, why we have these aspirations. This is our heart telling us this is the life you were meant to live. There's where we experience the dissatisfaction, right? We're not in alignment with our true self. We're not listening to that heart that's trying to express itself.
Yeah, that's what Mary taught me, was that when you want to know what it is that you may feel is meant for you, then you can get into your longing and discontent, because your heart will let you know. Your heart will let you know where you feel a little short on, or where you're just kind of fed up with being or tolerating. And that's a great place to start. And you can follow that up by what would you love in that area that you feel discontented in. And when you structure that out, now you have a target or GPS location. At that point, that challenge becomes when you're going to be set upon by opposing forces. That's a scientific law. The minute you're in motion, you'll be set upon by opposing resistance. It doesn't mean no. And I love how Mary always says that. It doesn't mean no. It may mean not this way, but never does it mean no. What you love, you can have. And it's a travesty when people abandon the goal because of the challenges. And, there are challenges. There will always be challenges. As a matter of fact, most of the success stories we have in history will say they got even more challenging the more I started moving towards it. There was a flow, but they just got into that rhythm of this is an opportunity. This is a challenge to grow. This is a place to expand. I can see myself at a higher level. If I'm dealing with 4 things at once, I just take a deep breath and relax. I don't let it overwhelm me. I learn how to handle that fluidly, no stress. And the more I do that, the more I can handle. And I'm learning I can handle more things when I'm calm and relaxed. And as Wilma said, happy and in love and just enjoying life. At that point, it's almost fun to get in there and go, I got that done. Now I got that done. Then I got that done. What's next? Bring it on. And you start getting so inspired by your competency that now you just want to, as I'm sure Wilma knows, turn around and show other people how to do that and say, let's bring you into this brilliant space and start moving forward.
And also, like in my case as a healer, as a healer, you have to pass a lot of tests because like me, I am given more spiritual power or strength to heal people because I pass a test. Okay, because the earth is like a university. We have to pass some tests in the earth, earth school, right? So it's kind of like a taekwondo. When I became a healer, okay, level 1, okay, then I get this power, whether it's in any of my senses, psychic abilities, sensing, clairvoyance, or whatever it is, And then I've been challenged. For example, like I told you, my experience of medical last year, I passed that. Then it gave me another power, it gave me another healing abilities. It's kind of like the more you ascend higher, like a black belter now, you are given more like responsibility by the higher beings, by the cosmic, because the cosmic knows that you are able to handle it, right? So this is where we are raising consciousness, because when you are raising your consciousness, your vibration is much higher. There's so much light and love. Everything that you do is light and love. And when you have light and love, automatically everything around you flows in that way. Your house, your pets, your children, your career, and without you even realizing, you are already in the state of freedom. Oh my God. All I do every day is pray, heal, and meditate, but I'm earning money. I can work everywhere. I feel like I'm retired, all these things, because you just surrender and allow the universe to work on you. And this work is like a movie. You are the director, you are the producer, you are the scriptwriter, you are the actor, you are the antagonist, your protagonist. And we are multidimensional beings. So the more that we realize how multidimensional are, and that's the more you are loving yourself, even the complexity of it, and you rise above that challenge. Like Mark says, you rise above that challenge, and you don't think that challenge is a problem. You already think that's the creative idea to expand. Oh, what is this? It's telling me something. I get excited. What am I gonna do next? What is it to expand that maybe I don't know? Then I will learn something new. So that's what's that's opening the heart and opening your mind, and you're just allowing it to happen.
Mm-hmm. And so, Mark, you got me very much in tune to the Hermetics and the universe, or the laws of Hermetica. One of them is the law of rhythm. You know what I mean? What comes will go, and there's an ebb and flow to life. So there, we want those good experiences, but like you say, once we start to emulate towards or move towards that, those challenges, or those negative moments, they're going to happen. It's a law of the universe. So, but what we're talking about here, we've all mentioned, is rising above it. We're able to go through that challenge. It's not like our feet are getting chopped up from under us because we're jumping over the resistance. We're at a higher level than this resistance comes. So what do you think about that, Mark?
Well, I'll tell you what, law of rhythm, I actually I implemented an advanced training on that specific law for the reason to show people in that flow, that electrical signal, that flow, the ebb and flow or the crest and the trough, to give them examples of what you may be experiencing while it's taking place and what you can do to create the upward rhythm so that it continues to climb versus what we unconsciously do at times, which is create that downward spiral where it just gets worse and worse and worse. So the law of rhythm is never straight across, but it does state some pretty basic fundamental truths that you're going to crest and you're going to trough, and that the overall median of that vibration is your overall vibration. However, when everything's great and it's easy and we're in flow and it's brilliant, that will always turn around and kind of come down. It doesn't have to come down a lot. It really doesn't. And in the flow and the law of rhythm, the minute you sense that a downward trend is coming, part of what Wilma was talking about really is the best way that I found to turn that around quicker. And as part of what Curtis said, to catch it quicker. It's so powerful to understand that the minute things are going down, it's not a judgment of you and, our mind, the fear and the concern, if that's present, it's going to start imagining that if this is what's starting, how bad is this going to get? How low is this going to go? And then we end up getting stuck in that flow. We end up feeling like it's going to keep getting worse. And now it's all going to fall apart. And we're just creating what we don't want in that sense. So what I coach people to do is that the minute you feel that kind of tailing off and coming down, is we amp up that self-mastery practice even more at that time and get back into that flow, get into the love. Do not let the circumstance dominate your heart. And that's really where Troy and I have focused our attention, is on the fact that all of our blocks come inside that emotional content, inside the subconscious, with the information that we have. Even Wilma talking generational, right? That's something that I love that Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden talk about a lot, is how this information is passed down, right? Our beginning programming is from that genetic structure. So we literally have generations and generations of information passed down that begins us as a vibrational being. And then from there, our environment adds on top of that, right? So that by the time you're 7 years old and you finally develop a conscious mind, you not only have all this generation that formulated you, but you also have 7 years of environment that is also embedded in your subconscious. And that's why you hear a lot about paradigms and shifting, because by then, now we may have some things we have to overcome. But through that law of rhythm, I've actually overcome a lot of my prior struggles just by staying laser focused on where I want to go and implementing these sciences that we have been talking about, lining myself up with the laws of the universe, especially law of rhythm, to sit down when you're feeling low and put all the work in right then and there, because it stops that flow sooner and you come up and you come out of that trough. It's like a slingshot, and then you go a little higher. So of course you continue your consistent behavior pattern that had gotten you there, but when you feel it coming down, to amp it up even more and just fill your heart with love. Mary teaches us, get back into service. That's a really powerful way to turn around a downward trend in our heart. Is we may feel restriction in our heart, but once we feel that, it's kind of like we're blocking this natural flow of the universe to us because we're in restriction. So to get back to loving what you do, loving who you are, loving other people, all that stuff, and to get into that flow kind of releases that grip, or I guess you could call it a cramp in the heart, right? When we're just feeling like things aren't right. And that will release it and get us back in the flow, and we'll come up out of that trough a lot faster. So that's been an interesting practice in the law of rhythm, and helping people to understand that when you do dip, it's definitely not a judgment of anything. And it doesn't have to be this foreboding prophet, prediction that things are going to be terrible in the future. It's just stating that has to happen. We can only exhale so far, and then we got to breathe in again, right? So that is just part of life.
Thank you. That was great. That very deep lesson into the law of rhythm and how to manage it. And we're going to start wrapping up here, but you mentioned this once, and you've used this with me. You've taught me this technique in order to, when we experience those challenges, those blockages, something that we're not dealing well with, or we don't deal well with. It's a paradigm we're convinced of. In order to get beyond that, these three little words that you're able to wipe it all out. Up until now, I've done this. Up until now, I've experienced this. That changes the whole experience, right?
Absolutely. Because when we want to be authentic and admit where we are, then we want to admit if we're struggling. We want to admit if we have a paradigm that's present, and that's okay. That we want to be honest, right? Denial is the worst thing we can do, because then it's just going to back build. That truth is still in us, whether or not we're willing to pay attention to it. So, teaching people to be authentic, you then will, some people have the habit of saying, oh, I screw everything up and it always ends up this way. And they use words that are open-ended, right? That energy now is suggesting I will always be that way. So when you apply something like up until now, that was a great way for Mary to help us understand that if I'm admitting something that I'd rather not have present, up until now, I have had trouble in these situations where people set me off and I get angry. When you say up until now, it shuts the energy off right now in the present. That way it cannot just keep continuing. Then we want to follow that up with what we'd rather have, right? So up until now, I would get angry in these situations. However, these days I'm aware of it. I catch it, like Curtis said, I catch it sooner, and I make a change now so that I am not angry, or I'm happier, or I put back on the love, or however you want to word it. It ends with a positive influx, right? So that's expansive on the back end of that. And I love that. That's been one of the most powerful tools I've used over the last year.
Yeah, listen, you've only had me, using this technique to probably the last 6 months or so, but I'm really comfortable with it. And I've gotten over so many issues or blockages that used to trouble me. But now I'm able to move forward because of those three little words. So I love them as a powerful tool. So thank you for that. Wilma, again, this has been an amazing show. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you as well.
Just wrap up for us, first of all, last final thoughts, and then how can people get in touch with you and follow up with you?
Well, definitely the frequency right now is vibration. Energy is something that you don't see, but is very, very powerful, like Mark said. The air that you breathe, the oxygen, that 80% of your body is breathing. You don't even see the oxygen, but it's the life. It gives you life. All right. So I always say that invisible things are equally powerful. The things that you don't see, and especially energy. And these are the one that we are teaching right now as a coach. And like you said, there are many coaches out there, or many other people you can ask for help. The thing is, like, we always brush our teeth every day, but we need a dentist to remove the plaque and the cavities, right? So if you have a block that you have a block, but you don't know how to remove the block, that's where you need help to reach out, either coaches or healers or spiritual workers as well. So don't hesitate to somehow not be in denial. Like Mark said, denial is a very important word, and denial equates an ego as well, you know. So when you start to level off and slowly shed those so much of this trapped, then you will start to have clarity over yourself. So if anyone who wants to reach me in the audience, my website is www.wilmaangel.com. So all my information and email address is in that site. They can even leave a message. Again, it's wilmaangel.com. Thanks, RJ. Thanks, Mark and
thank you.
Curtis.
And you've done a lot of work with me, and blessings on that, because again, I have come a long way from the nervous, unaware, unconscious
Correct.
person who once I was. So and a lot of that comes from you. Thank you very much.
And I can't wait to see you be into the least effort, the law of least effort, you know, because when you are in the law of rhythm and you master the least effort, everything is just manifesting, you know, automatically. You don't even have to worry. Money, career, love, all these things will fall into place without you even doing anything, because the cosmic in the universe knows that you are authentic. So it will flow on its own. You know, so I advise to everybody, don't worry, don't worry, and smile a lot, because smile is a healing itself. Your cells and atoms are regenerating when you're smiling a lot.
Well, you've made me smile, and I feel a lot better doing so. So thank you very
All
much.
right. And I look forward to Mark to get in touch with you as well, and Troy. And thanks for meeting you in this platform. Curtis, I appreciate all your efforts as well with the beacon of light and leadership. Thank you.
Collaboration is very much a part of what we're putting together here. So hopefully we'll find some way to get you all working together and helping and healing more people. So same thing with you, Mark. Just a little bit of a wrap up about our discussion today, and then how can people get in touch or more involved with Internal Awakening?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to wrap up, the heart is where all the answers are, and the heart is where all of the things are that we may not be aware that's blocking us from going forward. So I love this conversation, talking heart-centered leadership. It's such a powerful conversation, and I'm honored to be a part of it. It's nice to meet you, Wilma. I'm looking forward to learning more about you. Great energy on you. You know, Curtis and you, RJ, you're always here. You're always working it. You guys keep showing up, and you show up. And I just want to celebrate both of you for continuing to just keep showing up for what it is you want to create, because that is how leaders do it. They just keep showing up. So congratulations on that. And I'm always happy to be a part of it. Yeah, I do have to run. I got another mastermind to run, but I will say, if anyone wants to reach us, they can check us out at internal-awakening.com. That's our website, or check us out at Internal Awakening on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page. A couple questions, ask to join, everybody's welcome. And check us out what we're doing on there. There's a lot of content on there. We do interviews. We have a lot of exposing ourselves. And I know that's what I love about working with Troy, is both of us lead by telling everyone what we're doing. Here's what we're working on. Here's what we did. Here's what we're experiencing. If there's something we can do for you, let us know. And I love that energy. So yeah, check us out there if you'd like. Otherwise, thank you so much, RJ, Curtis, for having me on. It was an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
And I just want to say, Mark, you know what? I know you got to go, but I mean, you have done so much work on me and with me, without so much as you know. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we all want that return on investment, and you know, we have to put up the money. But at the same time, you've been involved with me and helped me grow without so much as concern for that monetization. So thank you for everything you've done, and this is just small part of the payback that I can do for you. So. Thank you very much. Thank you both for joining us. Curtis, how about you? Can I get a little bit of a wrap up on your thoughts today? You can, Mark, I know you got to go, so if you don't stay with us, I understand.
I think it was great to know these two people. I know we met them before. I think they both have what we're looking for in leadership, is to look into yourself, and you will find the answer. As always, that's what we start from, and that's where we end up, is being our best selves will make us a better leader.
That's where I got out of today's discussion, because we've all obviously looked at our past, present, and future selves to become the person we are today, and the future of ourselves will be that is what we envision ourselves to be, right? As you know from Think and Grow Rich that you're reading, like so am I, that is part of it, right? Envisioning yourself to be better. And I think if you are able to do that just on your own, you can change your life. A lot of people just don't know they can have a choice. And I think with this platform, we can maybe encourage people to say, hey, there is a difference. You can make a difference in yourself just by knowing something. And I think the people who bring on here are helping our viewers and listeners to understand that. So that's where I think we're heading it. And I'm happy about it. And I'm happy that we're both on the same page, and the people we are bringing on here are also in that direction of trying to help as well. So that's it.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't bring them on. We wouldn't bring them on if they weren't in that space. We are, again, shining the light on leadership is what I like to say. You know what? We're trying to bring out those leaders who have made a difference. In their own lives, of course, they're living by example, as Mark said, but they're also leading. They're showing the way. And that's what we're looking to bring forward here. So again, we are Beacon of Leadership. This was just, a small portion of what we're going to bring. I want to invite you, Wilma, and I know Mark and LaTroy are going to join us June 3rd, next Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. We're going to have a launch party for this podcast that we're looking to grow from here. I'm looking forward to all of the exciting things to come out. Join us next week. You all want to be there, so come out and join us live. Sorry?
What time are we starting? 7?
7 o'clock till 9 p.m. It's going to be a 2-hour special because we're going to have some giveaways, some draws, some prizes to offer. So I'm really hoping to, and meet some of the leaders out there too. So I'm really looking forward to what next week is going to bring, and then the future of the Beacon of Leadership. So thank you, Wilma, for joining us.
Thank you
for
as
being a
well.
part of our
Have a great
community.
weekend. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And have a
Okay.
great night out there,
Bye.
folks. Until next
Okay,
time,
bye-bye.
better days ahead.
Bye.